Hi folks, Uthink here. Welcome back to my channel. On my channel I want you to reason and think and draw your own conclusions. Now in this video I'm going to show you some trickery where people trying to deceive you and try to give you evidence that is faulty to try and prove that you're living on a spinning ball. Now there's a simple way to show that these people are deceiving you. So whether it's a pastor, a priest, a scientist, it doesn't matter. If people are lying to you and deceiving you, then don't associate with these people.
Conversation. You're running from the evidence.
No one's running.
Contradicted your dirt pizza, your ridiculous
Michael.
lie of flat Earth.
Michael.
No, Sean.
Let's do the
You need to understand that they are fake. So let's have a look at an example. So in this video I'm going to show you a simple thing. Your camera tripod. When you set up a tripod, the tripod must be level with what? With the horizon. Say if your camera has to face the sun, if you're on a spinning ball, the horizon will swing from left to right. So I'm going to show you how and why. So let's listen to this fellow who's going to provide us evidence of a level horizon and the sun is moving in a straight line.
Let's establish your standard of evidence. You accept video evidence. You accept.
So in his video footage, he's saying he's at the South Pole. Well, if he's at the South Pole, the sun can't go left to right, the sun must go up and down. The sun cannot go from left to right like is in his footage. Because of your tripod must give you a 90-degree angle to the ball Earth. So let's have a look. This is a drawing that's to scale. The Earth is tilted at 23.4 degrees or 66.6, depends where you measure from. So that's the angle, and this is to scale. So the South Pole, right, on average, let's say we're talking about 3,000 kilometers. If you at the midnight side, right, that will be your angle. Right, what must be the drop to your position at 1200 hours midday? Well, it must be 352 kilometers. So you would see that shift if your tripod was level with the horizon. Now remember, as you rotate, this is what you should see. Can you see a level horizon? Well, according to science, well, this stuff is at the South Pole. Volcanoes. These big bad boys, these mountains, right? Apparently full of it. So how can you do a 360 pan if you're doing an orbit and your camera is rotating on a automatic pan tilt timer? Where's this stuff that should be passing in front of you? So remember, it's not about how big your camera tripod is. If your tripod is set up 90 degrees to the surface of the ball, it doesn't matter how high it is off the surface, the angle to the ball is still the same. So it's your angle. In other words, when you're at 12 midday, the sun cannot be in front of you, the sun must be above your head. The next issue is the horizon must swing left to right if your camera is at 90 degrees. So let's compare it. Right, so let's have a look. Here's footage we know was shot in the north. It shows the midday in the north, which proves the Earth is flat because your tripod is upright to the level of the horizon. The only way that you can do this with a tripod is if the Earth is flat. Now, if they are saying that in the South Pole you gave the same thing, well, as you swing from one side to the other, the horizon must shift, because your camera is level. Now, if you kept the sun level, what must happen? Well, the sun can't swing left to right, it must swing up and down. So if you leave your camera and you don't rotate your camera will stay at the same angle. The problem is you have to turn your tripod around to face the sun. You can't just leave your tripod at that same angle. So therefore, the horizon must shift in your footage. If you rotate to your left, and if you're on a spinning ball and you rotate to the right, you'll be rotating at different speeds. So if you rotate to your left and you rotate to the right, you'll be rotating against the rotation. So the rotation will be added onto, if it's with, and be minus from. So both of you cannot be moving at the same speed. Your footage would be completely different.
A lie is a lie, and it don't matter how many dumb sheeple believe it. And the truth is the truth, hiding right out in plain sight, and still people don't see it. Man, this shit got me heated, and I won't stop till the elite are being defeated. They keep us deceived about everything that we think, and they keep it a secret. What we're taught is not conducive with reality. Big bang, evolution, and there's gravity. I tell the truth and then these motherfuckers laugh at me, telling me the earth is Photoshop because it has to be. Most people accept the deception happily, but what they're doing to us all is a tragedy. God created the heavens and the earth in a verse, but we're living in a limits on the galaxy. They say we're monkeys on a ball flying through outer space, but there's no proof, it seems to have vanished without a trace. NASA and other agencies falling down from grace. You can take that bullshit pseudoscience and get out my face. I'm the antisocial type, you're a government prototype. That's why you make it a point to tell me that I'm crazy every time you're angry, cause you know I'm right. I'm standing outside the house of cards about to watch it fall. No more living on a cartoon ball. Horizon means horizontal.
Right. So let's have a look. Remember, what is your change in height to the sun would be 352 kilometers between 1200 hours midnight and 12 midday. Right. It's your angle of your tripod. So this is what it would look like. Remember, as you're rotating, you have to rotate your camera. Right. You're using a automated pan tilt head because your camera has to swivel and keep itself fixed onto the sun. It has to change its angle. So what would the footage look like? It would look like this. The sun cannot swing from left to right. The sun must move up and down because your tripod must remain level with the horizon. So if you had to fix the sun, if your camera had to be fixed on the sun, the same position, the sun must only move up and down, it cannot move left to right.
Let's establish your standard of evidence. You accept video evidence. You accept.
This fellow, because he's as dumb as a sack of bricks, he has no idea what he's talking about. So look, a little bit about myself. I'm an artist. I'm a cinematographer and photographer. So I understand these things because I've been doing it my whole life. And I know the earth is flat because I use a tripod and I see the motion of the sun. And I look at shadows and I look at light. The earth is flat and I know it because I pay attention.
Any child knows that.
I'll have to ask my accountant about that.
So the sun has to move up and down, not left to right. So keep in mind, look, the earth is tilted at 23.4 degrees or 66.6 degrees. As the earth rotates, you have to rotate on the South Pole. So it'll be the only place in the world where this happens. Right? We know there's no North Pole simply because there's no ice cap there. But they say, well, there's this ice cap on the bottom of the earth. Of course, because NASA photographed this ice cap when they went to the moon. It's garbage. It's total nonsense. So that 23.4 degrees tilt, right, the sun is fixed in its location and you're rotating. So the sun must move up and down in your footage because your camera stays level with the horizon. Right, so we come to the part of the video, right, where we're going to play a bit of music, and I want you to reason and think. And the truth is there. What you've been told from when you were younger up until today is a lie, and so you have to reason and think for yourself. So reason and think, draw your own conclusions, ask your own questions. Cheers and thanks for watching.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
Everything they say is a lie in the sky. Well, go but you're laughing out loud. Truth is lurking behind every gray cloud. Flat as a pancake slipping by. Mountains rise, but don't fool your eyes. Water never curls, just a smooth ride.
Hi folks, welcome back to my channel. My channel is called Uthink, because I want you to reason and think, draw your own conclusions. In this video, we're going to have a look at the final manipulation, right? It's not an experiment, it's just manipulation. So one of the reasons why they're having this show is because, look, the Globe Theatre is empty. People are leaving, people have woken up, and they know the whole thing's a scam. So they need to get people back into the theatres. And this is simply what it's about, right? The whole thing is just, it's a show, it's stupid, right? It's trickery, it's deception. So in this video, I'm going to show you some things that if you understand these things, you'll be able to understand what's going on with the final experiment, and that it's a scam. So it has a dual purpose. They're trying to create the illusion that the problems in the globe Earth and the problems in the heliocentric model have been resolved. Whereas the globe Earth and the heliocentric model fails on so many levels. So when you look at some of these levels, so this is just part of the shitty entertainment they've been giving us over the years. They gave us moon golf, cars from Mars, flip-flopping in space, right? And now it's the 24-hour Antarctic sun. So by using simple logic, whatever footage they bring, we can have a look at it and put it to the test. Look, like the flip-flopping in space. For you to rotate around your center axis, right, you need to use your body weight. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to turn, right? So by providing us with the evidence, the same evidence actually tells you that it's a scam. Right? You can't rotate around your center axis if you're weightless. Right, we're going to have a look at this, one of the circus clowns, this guy here. Is this a dumbass circus clown, a greater sapien trying to sell you tickets to the show? So we're going to put him to the test, listen to what he says, and we're going to see what a dumbass he is. So look, they did provide evidence before, right? That evidence proved that it was faked and it was a lie. And here's the problem: when a lie is exposed, they don't admit the truth, they construct an even bigger lie. That's all this really is. Because you need to ask yourself a question. There is tons of footage of the midnight sun, the winter solstice and the summer solstice in the north. So where's all the tons of footage in the south? Why doesn't it exist? And that's the problem. That's why they need to go there. Now I'm going to show you some things that will prove that the whole thing's a scam. So let's listen to the circus clown as he tries to sell you tickets to the show, and then we're going to ask some questions.
So the countdown for the final experiment has begun. In 3 or 4 days, depending on when I get this uploaded, the participants in the final experiment will be touching down in Union Glacier in Antarctica, and within 12 to 18 hours, the globe denier claim that a 24-hour sun does not exist will be destroyed.
Right. So that's part of the illusion, right? The globe fails on many levels. So if they produce a midnight sun, does it actually resolve all the problems in the box? No, it doesn't. So let's look at evidence. So it's not just evidence of the sun for 24 hours. It's the evidence of the ball Earth rotation axis in motion. Right? Both of them together, because they happen at the same time. You can't exclude the ball Earth rotation axis in motion and just show us a picture of the sun for 24 hours. Right? So let's listen. Right? So let's add some detail to that.
Now, it might take a couple days to capture evidence in a way that presents the evidence the way the flat earthers want it presented, because you know that's what it's going to come down to. Arguing over the evidence. Globe deniers are going to insist that they want to see 24 hours of continuous footage of the sun above the horizon. No breaks, no edits, no nothing. So, if someone walks in front of the camera and blocks the view of the sun for a minute, or some clouds block the sun, they are going to scream that an edit was put in there. But at that point, That's all they're going to have.
Right? No, he's a dumbass. Listen, the ball, Earth's rotation and axis motion. So let's illustrate a point here. What must happen? If you have two cameras, right, you and your buddy, and you're on a rotating platform, you want to film this ball for 24 hours. What must happen? You can't avoid it. What must happen? You can't avoid it. Your buddy on the right-hand side would rotate in front of you. After 6 hours now, he would be on your left-hand side. After another 6 hours, you'd be in front of him and he would be behind you. And 6 hours later, he'd be back on your right-hand side. Right? So this would be evidence. This is what we want to see. Right? He's just a circus clown. He's a dumbass. Right? He's not dealing with the real issues. He's a clown. Right. So if the Earth's not rotating and you got two cameras, you and your buddy, you're filming there, right, for 24 hours. If the ball orbits in a circle around you, well, there won't be this motion. He can't move in front of you and you can't move in front of him 12 hours later. Right. So do we have footage like this? Yes, footage from the north. Right? There's a winter solstice. At the same time that they are seeing the midnight sun, a person in Alaska sees this. What does he see? He sees the sun rise and set where? In front of him. So is there any Earth rotation in this footage? No. So they've got a big problem.
Everything they say is a lie in the sky. Well, go but you're laughing out loud. Truth is lurking behind every gray cloud. Flat as a pancake slipping by. Mountains rise, but don't fool your eyes. Water never curls, just a smooth ride. They keep feeding you stories, truth denied. You see flat land, horizon stretching wide. You see flat land, horizon stretching wide. Flat earth spinning the square. Wake up, people nowhere. Don't believe around it, not in prayer.
Right. So evidence. Not bullshit. You want to see real evidence. Evidence of the ball, Earth rotation axis and motion. That's what we want to see.
Because you know that's what it's going to come down to. Arguing over the evidence.
Right, so don't come back with bullshit flying penguins, right? Because we're going to just send your bullshit back to you, right? Newton's third law. If you send us bullshit, right, we're going to send it back to you, right, in the opposite direction, increase its acceleration, its velocity, and we're going to do it quickly, right, because that's how shit works. So don't complain like you're a victim when you've been lying to us, and you give us horseshit and bullshit, and we throw it back at you. Now you're a victim, right? Because shit don't work that way.
Deniers are going to insist that they want to see.
But of course we want to see. Right? We want to see what the donkey sees. Ball, Earth, rotation, axis, and motion. So, they got some donkeys there with them. They took a whole lot of donkeys with them. What should the footage show? Your shadows crisscrossing, going in the opposite direction, right? Things further away moving faster, things closer to you moving slower. Your shadows crisscrossing at 12 o'clock mark and at the 2400 hour mark. The shadow should speed up and slow down. Right, this would be evidence.
Deniers are going to insist that they want to see.
Well, of course we want to see it. Dumbass. So if you're on a ball, right, you set your camera up, and I brought this out in one of my other videos. You're on a ball. So the evidence of that curve of that ball would be in your footage. So from your perspective, from the camera perspective, the sun can't move left and right, it must move up and down. Then it would swing over, and then as you cross the South Pole, it must dip down, and must dip up as you're on the opposite side.
Deniers are going to insist that they want to see.
Of course we want to see this. This would be evidence, dumbass.
Mountains rise, but don't fool your eyes. Water never curls, just a smooth ride. They keep feeding you stories, truth denied. We see flat land, horizons stretching wide. We see flat land, horizons stretching wide. Flat Earth still in the square. Wake up, people nowhere.
Right, so let's listen to the circus clown. Let's see what else he has to say.
Deniers are going to insist that they want to see 24 hours of continuous footage of the sun above the horizon.
Right, here's my second point that I'm going to bring up. Why do you need a special trip? Right. You should have had evidence over the last 100 years that you were brought to the table. Why do you need to make a special trip now? It's because you got caught out lying. Right? You got busted lying. Now you have to make a special trip. So do they need to make a special trip? No. Well, why? Well, you've got your dumbass ISS. Just send the ISS orbiting around the North Pole and the South Pole. You'll have your 24-hour sun, dipshit. You'll have your moon, your new moon orbiting in front of you. Right? You don't need to go to the flippin' North Pole and do a fancy show. What would your footage show? Well, your footage should show that the sun and moon circling in front of you like this. The Earth would rotate in one direction and the other direction in your video footage. Show us this. You should have this because you got your ISS up there, right? And don't come with your bullshit that you can't do it, because we all know how gravity works. Gravity just pulls you wherever you want to go. If you want to go to the moon, gravity will pull you to the moon. You want to come back to the Earth, gravity will pull you back to the Earth. So all you need to do is just point in a direction and gravity will send the ISS in that direction, because that's how your bullshit gravity works. Right? If the moon is orbiting the Earth and it's falling around the Earth, it would be falling around in all directions, if what you're saying is true. Why does the Earth fall around the sun at that same angle? And why does the moon fall around at the Earth angle constant to the sun and the Earth? It'd be flip-flopping all over the show, man. Because things don't fall according to math. Right? Things don't fall around, right, according to math. Things fall randomly. So, right, evidence, 2-point perspective must match. So what do I mean by that? Right. This is what I want to see. Look, if I got a ball, it doesn't matter the angle of that ball. If I'm on the one side of the ball, I can't see the other side of the ball. That's what the problem is. Right. You can't see around the curve of a ball. Right. Doesn't matter what that angle of the ball is. It's not going to change the fact that you can't see around the curve of a ball. Right. So let's look at this picture. Right. I want you to reason and think. In the winter solstice, the person at 2400 hours at the same angle, because the Earth is tilted at 23.4 degrees, that would be his angle in the summer. And in winter, right, and if he's at the 1200 mark, that would be his angle. At 2400 hours, it must match. The angle for the person in the winter at 24 and 1200 hours must be the same for summer, because it's a dumbass ball. So here's footage of the winter solstice. So, at the same time that you see this in Alaska, the person in the south must see the 24-hour sun. So let's look at that footage. Well, the problem is, how can this person actually see the sun rising and setting in his same frame of reference for that 12 hours if he's in the north? This is what he filmed. So you automatically have a problem. Now let's exclude that problem and just add that footage to the issue at hand. So do you see the problem? Just stop and think. Right. How can a person at the 12 o'clock position see the sun above the horizon at its maximum point? A person at the 2400 hour position in the summer in the south, his angle is the same. How can he see the sun above the horizon when it should be at its maximum?
Mountains rise, but don't fool your eyes. Water never curls, just a smooth ride. They keep feeding your stories, truth denied. We see flat land, horizon stretching wide.
2-point perspective mismatch. So, look, let's look at another issue. I have a rotating platform. I have a camera that's in the north, right? In the south, I have a camera that's upside down. The camera in the north must rotate against the rotation. So must the camera in the south. They're rotating it in different directions so that they both can see the ball for the 360 rotation. So you can't just go to the South Pole and stick up your camera. According to what? What are your angles? What is your time based on what? They never discussed this. They said, no, we're just going to go there and film the sun for 24 hours. Because you're an idiot. Right. So from your perspective, you in the south, what must happen? The clouds must rotate around your camera axis because the Earth's rotating as you turn to film your ball. Right, we should see clouds rotating around the lens of the camera. Right, we should see the land push back. The land must push to the left. The land must now push back, push forward, to the left, and then to the right, and so forth. We don't see that happening in the north. It tells me that there's no North Pole and there's no South Pole. This would be evidence. You bring me this, put this on the table, I would say, well, that's evidence. Otherwise, take your shit and duck. This guy's a clown, man. Okay, so I'm going to show you how stupid this guy is. Remember this? Remember, they're producing evidence, but the evidence that they're producing actually debunks what they're saying. You can't use your upper body weight to rotate around your center of gravity and then convince people you're weightless, because you need that weight to flip and rotate. So let's listen to this clown. Right? Now remember this, and let's listen to what he says, and now we're going to listen. So most ball earthers are just dumbass, brain dead, falling asleep, and not listening. Listen to what he says. Visualize what he's saying, and then try and see the problem. So let's listen to what he says. But don't be like a ball earther and just flip and nod off and go to sleep. Pay attention.
And upload unedited photos and clips where others can get to them while you're out there. And here's a great example of why I'd like to see that happen. A couple days ago, I found out that a friend of mine is currently on an expedition in Antarctica with National Geographic. I was sent a couple of photos and a couple of videos of the ship busting through some ice and some penguins having a good time. Nothing I haven't seen before. But since the files were untouched copies of the original, every photo and video was geotagged. I could go into the metadata and grab the coordinates and pop that spot up on Google Maps. The files have the time embedded in them as well. So guys, while you're out there at 2 a.m. with the sun 5-10 degrees above the horizon, take pics of those globe deniers and put the raw files up for everyone to use.
Right. So why is this guy a dumbass? It's in what he was saying. So what's the problem? Look, time relative to your position. To timestamp the images, the Earth cannot be moving. And you can't be at the South Pole. Why? Because it wouldn't work. So let me explain to you. Here's two people, right? They're on a rotating platform. The South Pole is rotating. What is the time for both of them? It changes. Right? It doesn't change like anywhere else it would on Earth. This would be unique at the South Pole. So do you understand what the problem is? How do you timestamp this? If your position, say your GPS location would be locked, but according to what timestamp? What is your time? It wouldn't work. Your time wouldn't work. If this guy, if he's at 1700 hours, right, it doesn't match what he's seeing on the horizon. The guy spinning past, his time location is completely different. $12 is directly ahead of you. So how do you timestamp it? According to what? It can only work if the Earth is fixed and the Sun is moving. Then you can't have a South Pole. So your timestamp over the year, what must happen to that? It will change. As the Earth orbits around the Sun, and what is your timestamp, dumbass, based on what bullshit? It's stupid. It can't work. So, my personal opinion, right, if I add all those things up, it means the South Pole cannot exist. If you go there and you're giving me a video footage of the Sun above the horizon, give me the footage. I need to see the Earth's rotation, because the only place where people are spinning around the South Pole is at a bar and strip club called the South Pole. Otherwise, it can't exist. So look, I hope this video has given you food for thought. Look, don't let these people bullshit you. They're just clowns. Alright.
He knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. Vishnu takes on its multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death.